Hello students, this audio is being made for MA Political Science third semester for one of the compulsory papers, that is Public Administration. In this audio I will be speaking on scientific management. Scientific management is regarded as one of the important contributions in the evolution of administrative theory. Scientific management was propounded by Frederick Taylor. Frederick Taylor is also called as the father of scientific management, and therefore scientific management is also called as Taylorism. So Frederick Taylor is one who had done a lot of research in the area of industrial management. Despite not being the first person to work in the area of industrial management, Frederick Taylor came to be called as father of scientific management because of his deep research involvement and valuable insights in the area. Taylor was influenced by Henry Town, Henry Metcalfe, and Charles Babbage. Even the term scientific management was not coined by Frederick Taylor. The term scientific management was actually coined by Louis Brandeis, who later on became the judge of American Supreme Court. This term was coined by Louis Brandeis in his arguments before Interstate Commerce Commission in 1910. In the course of his arguments, Louis Brandeis said that railroads could save $1 million a day by applying scientific management methods. This is how this term came into being, and Frederick Taylor popularized this term and also used this term as title to one of his monographs, that is The Principles of Scientific Management. Frederick Taylor considered best management is a true science. His main argument was that for every work there is one best way of doing. So that best way of doing work has to be discovered. So he did that, and he was of the view that the scientific management and his principles of scientific management can be applied to all human activities with equal force. Universities can run, governmental departments can run, homes can run, churches, farms, institutions, everything can be administered or run by applying the principles given by Frederick Taylor. That was his belief. The views of Frederick Taylor on scientific management can be found in his writings, namely A Piece Rate System, published in 1895, Shop Management, published in 1903, Art of 13 Metals, published in 1906, and Principles of Scientific Management, published in 1911. So before we go into the details of scientific management, let us try to understand what was the context of scientific management. And the context of scientific management was that during later part of 19th century and early part of 20th century, American industry was suffering from low productivity. So American industry was in turmoil. The management of American industry was confused, was thinking as to what went wrong, why the industrial productivity is at its low. So lot of researches were taking place, and the purpose of and the objective of that realization was to ensure efficiency in American industry. So therefore, the urge for efficiency in American industry came to be called as efficiency movement. So Frederick Taylor was one of the influential leaders of American efficiency movement. The aim of efficiency movement was to ensure efficiency and increase the industrial productivity. Frederick Taylor also carried out a lot of researches, and in his research he found that management of American industry of his times was amateurish, and it did not know about the ways and means to ensure efficiency. And at the same time, he also discovered a phenomena called soldiering by workers. The phenomena of soldiering is working of workers below their capacity. And why do workers work below their capacity? Frederick Taylor found out 3 reasons behind this phenomena of soldiering by workers. The first reason was that workers deliberately do as little as one can safely do due to the belief that if they become more productive, some of them would become surplus and would be removed. And the second reason was the wage systems were non-incentive. They were not encouraging. As a result, low productivity was there in American industry. Employees never thought of working at high pace for the fear that higher pace may become the standard, and as a result of which the employees think that their wages may come down. And the last reason for the soldiering was, which Frederick Taylor found out, that workers waste their time and effort by applying and relying on rule of thumb and unscientific methods and practices than those scientifically determined. So these were the three reasons behind the phenomena of soldiering by workers. So in order to overcome the phenomenon of soldiering and to improve efficiency, Frederick Taylor undertook a lot of experiments to set the standards for the best level of performance for all kinds of jobs. He thought upon what was necessary to achieve the best level of performance in any kind of work. He carried out experiments like stopwatch method, motion study, time study, and he applied various techniques called differential piece rate plan, functional foremanship, and a couple of other techniques, through which he sought to ensure and apply principles of scientific management. Frederick Taylor also identified many defects in the management of his times, such as management had no clear understanding of what worker management responsibilities are. Management lacked the ability to set effective standards of work. Management was also not aware of the limited output because of soldiering by workers. Management could not design proper jobs to offer the proper incentives to workers so that soldiering is overcome. So most of the decisions taken by management were unscientific. They were largely based on hunch, rule of thumb, intuition, past experience. Management did not place workers taking into consideration of their ability, aptitude, and interest. So these were the defects he noticed in the management. So Taylor's views on piece rate system are very important. In fact, his paper on a piece rate system was considered as an outstanding contribution to the principles of wage administration. He proposed different rates for different levels of work. A low price should be paid if a worker works up to a standard. Slightly high amount should be paid if a worker works at a standard. If a worker works beyond the standard mark, then he should be paid higher wages. So this is how he tried to suggest ways and means to incentivize worker through monetary gains so that worker gets motivated and work for the benefit of organization, and which ultimately leads in the rise of industrial productivity. Frederick Taylor also suggested that management should pay more wages to workers to ensure increased productivity. Frederick Taylor's major objective of management was to secure the maximum prosperity for the employer, for the employee, and for the consumer. The primary concern of Frederick Taylor was that the results of higher productivity should equally benefit all people, that is, workers, employers, and consumers. Higher wages to the workers, greater profits to the management, and payment of lower prices for the products by the consumer. Frederick Taylor gave 4 principles of scientific management. Number 1, development of true science. Second principle of scientific management was scientific selection of the workers. And the third principle was scientific education and development of workers. And the fourth principle was division of work and responsibility between management and workers. So Frederick Taylor wanted to develop a true science of work, and that's why he did research and carried out lot of experiments to devise one standard way of doing a work. So he carried out lot of experiments like time study, motion study, and set standards for different kinds of work. So the purpose of coming up with one best way of doing work is to avoid criticism, to stop wastage, to minimize expenditure, and to ensure efficiency and industrial productivity. So, industrial productivity and efficiency can be ensured only by applying scientific methods, scientific ways and means. And that is nothing but a true science of work. So that is the purpose of scientific management. And the second principle of scientific management was that scientific selection and progressive development of the workman. Thus, Frederick Taylor emphasized on the scientific selection of workers. Not only scientific selection of workers, but he also said that workers should be trained from time to time. Workers should be up to date on new methods of work. So the skill development programs should be carried out from time to time to make workers do their work efficiently. And the third principle of scientific management was scientific education and development of workers. Management should ensure that workers are applying scientific methods so that industrial productivity is increased and efficiency is ensured. Frederick Taylor was of the view that workers always want to work and extend their cooperation, but management is always unwilling to extend cooperation to workers. So Frederick Taylor was of the view that there should be mutual relationship, healthy mutual relationship between management and workers. The interests of management and workers are not contradictory, but they are mutual. So therefore they should cooperate each other. Management should take care of workers and workers should take care of management. And this process is nothing but mental revolution. So there should be a mental revolution. Mental revolution is nothing but the change of attitude towards each other. In this case, the change of management's attitude towards workers, their issues, their problems, their wages, their welfare, their security, and at the same time, change of attitude on the part of workers towards management. Like workers should think about management's concerns like industrial efficiency, industrial productivity, and profit. So, this process of thinking for other is nothing but mental revolution. Then lastly, the division of work and responsibility between management and workers. There should be a clear cut division of work and responsibility between management and workers. Management should take care of workers and workers should take care of management. Proper division of work and responsibility between management and workers results in elimination of conflicts and strides. It creates an understanding and mutual dependence. So therefore, the principles of scientific management can be summarized as science but not rule of thumb, harmony but not discord, cooperation not individualism, maximum industrial productivity instead of limited industrial productivity, development of each man to his greatest efficiency and prosperity. So this is the philosophy of Frederick Taylor's scientific management. Taylor also emphasized on the concept of functional foremanship to ensure scientific management in the organization. Taylor was not supportive of linear system in the organization where each worker is subordinate to only one boss. It means each worker receives orders from only one boss. So he was against this linear system. He wanted to replace this system with what is called functional foremanship, in which the worker receives orders from 8 specialized supervisors. The foremanship is a technique where worker receives orders from 8 specialized supervisors. So the supervisors were divided along planning and execution. Taylor specified 9 qualities for a good foreman, and the qualities are education, technical knowledge, manual dexterity and strength, tact, energy, grit, honesty, judgment and good health. All these qualities will make a good foreman. As far as criticism of scientific management is concerned, despite being become a movement, scientific management movement, all people like labor managers were antagonistic to it. Trade unions were against the methods of increasing output by introduction of the premium bonus system. The labor leaders considered and believed that Taylorism as not only destroying trade unionism but also destroying the principle of collective bargaining. They thought that the system was a menace to the community at large as it causes continuous increase in unemployment. The trade unions felt that Taylor was more interested in the mechanical aspects of work and not much concerned about the total work situation. Another criticism against scientific management of Frederick Taylor was that Frederick Taylor considered worker as an economic man. He thought that every worker is an economic man and can be incentivized with monetary gains. This is not true always, and this criticism was leveled by Elton Mayo on Frederick Taylor. In spite of all the criticisms, we can say that scientific management propounded by Frederick Taylor made a huge impact on the management thought and practice across the globe. It became movement across the Europe. It spread to Germany. It entered in France, USSR, and almost all European countries and across the globe.